You chose coaching after you went into the media and you did other things after quitting from cricket. You finally, gravitated towards coaching. Any specific reason? Does it give you more satisfaction now?
So yeah. So after I finished, sort of there were quite a few options, and I wasn't necessarily sure what to do. And again, I think it was Kapil Dev who gave me this advice. Actually, I was, towards coming to the end of my career, and Kapil, in fact, told me, bumped into him somewhere, and he said, Rahul, he says, don't commit to doing anything straight away. Go out and spend a few years just exploring and doing different things, and see what you really like. And I thought it was good advice. So I was also a little fortunate that at the back end of my career, I was already in a sort of captain coach kind of role with the Rajasthan Royals. So I was already getting into the sort of management side of things at the Rajasthan Royals. In my last couple of years of the IPL, I had moved to the Royals and they wanted me to take more of a, not only be a captain, but also be involved in a little bit of the off-field stuff, the auctions, some of the management of the team. So I think I was getting a little bit of a taste of that and understanding how that works and how that functions. So I was lucky there that I was sort of, already playing a sort of coaching leadership kind of role towards the back end of my career. And like you said, then I did the media for a couple of years, and then I was also doing a little bit of the talking circuit and a few of my advertisements and few of the endorsements that I do. So yeah, there were a few things that I did for a couple of years, and I sort of eventually. I think I like doing the commentary. Don't get me wrong. I like the media and I liked it. I liked the fact that you could really have a good seat in the house and you get to watch some great cricket. But like you said, I mean, I think the thing that gave me the most satisfaction was really being involved in the game and being connected with the boys that you sort of. I sometimes felt a little disconnected as a media person. I mean, you commentated on a game and then you kind of left the venue and it just didn't seem like a connection with the result, or they didn't seem any connection with the game. And I kind of really liked the coaching side of things, and I got sort of involved in that. The opportunity came up to do some coaching with India A and under 19, and I said, look, this is a good opportunity, good place to start, and took it up, and I've really enjoyed it since. So yeah, so I just feel sort of a lot more satisfying to be involved in the coaching side of things. And also it's I think it is becoming a younger man's game. The coaching side of things, it is more and more, a lot of more younger people are getting into it, and I think with the media and other stuff, that the other opportunities that are there, you can always do them a little bit later on. So yeah, so for now, really enjoyed the coaching, and especially the developmental side of the coaching where I've been involved in, whether it's been the India A or the under 19 or the NCA now. Just that pathways developmental side, I think it's really given me the opportunity to actually work with a lot of the players without having to worry about the immediate results, which I think's a really nice space for me to work in, and I kind of enjoy that. Allows you to look at the bigger picture, which I think's a lot of fun.
You brought in a perspective into the system that of concentrating on long term goals, and winning is not the thing at the junior level.
Yeah, so again, this came up a little bit with my own experiences at India A, and a little bit with just talking to a lot of the players who had played at India A and who were playing. And I think a lot of them, when you talk to them about their junior cricket or how they grew up in India, and I was having this conversation with quite a few of them when I started coaching, and a lot of them didn't have very good experiences at the under 19 level. A lot of them would have this complaint that yeah, we went on the tour, but we never got a chance to play. We went on the full trip. People told me I was on two tours with an under 19 team. I obviously won't mention the names of the coaches or the teams, but they gave me one match to play in which I batted at number 6, and then I was never played again because the team was desperate to win every single match, or it was important to win. And I think that kind of struck a chord with me, because you start then thinking that, well, that's the in the sense that you got to make that experience a good one for whoever comes in, whether it's an under 19 player or an India A player. And I was also, always tell this to some of the selectors as well. I said that, a lot of these boys who get into our A teams, they perform the whole year and they've had a really successful year, which is exactly why you've picked them in the team. And now if we don't give them an opportunity, or if we don't give them a decent run in the games that we have, they have to go back all the way and start from scratch again and do put in those same performances, which I think was, just seemed a little bit unfair to me. And so yeah, so I've tried as much as possible. We've tried to ensure that, whenever people come on our A tours, irrespective of, whether we're 1-0 down or 2-0 down, or we need to win, uh, we ensure that we rotate the squads, we give everyone opportunities. Even at the under 19 level, one of the things, I think we kind of realized in looking at some of the stats was that the same people kept getting this opportunities over and over again. And for me, that felt very unfair at an under 19 level. That meant that you're putting all your eggs in one basket, in actually in a very small basket. You're saying that it's, if you're going to focus only on 15 or 20 players at the under 19 level and give them all the opportunities, what you're saying is that this 14 or 15 is the one that's going to go on and play for India. And I think that's, as we know, at the under 19 level, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's so many people develop a little bit later, they mature a bit later. Some boys are stronger than the others at 19 or 18, so they definitely look better or they perform better. But 2 or 3 years down the line, someone who's not as strong but has more talent has caught up with the other person. So we decided to broaden that group and say, okay, we'll ensure that people don't play more than one World Cup. We've been lucky over the last year or so that we were able to give nearly 45 to 50 players an opportunity to play for India. And it's not only about playing, it's about getting that exposure to the NCA, getting the exposure to good coaches, getting the opportunity to interact with good physios, good trainers. So it's not just 15, 20 boys getting that opportunity. It's now 45, 50 boys who get that opportunity. So it broadens the pool, and it sort of gives us a better chance, I think, at finding some successful players for India in the long run, which is, I guess, which is eventually all that we want to do, right? We want to produce players who play for India. It's not, not many people remember who won World Cups or what's the results in under 19 games. So yeah, so and I think, it's not just me. I know that, it's like I sometimes am the figurehead of it, but credit for this should also go to a lot of the selectors. I think a lot of the senior selectors and the junior selection committees that I've worked with, whether it's been the MSK-led committee or Ashish Kapoor and his team here, Venki was there before that. I think all of them have bought into that. It's not easy for selectors as well, because they're looking for sometimes results, immediately, and sometimes they're under pressure for the teams that they pick. But I've been glad to say that, I've enjoyed working with these selection committees, because they've really bought into this and they respect it. And sometimes even if results don't go our way, they're happy to see the bigger picture, which is really great.
This rotation that you brought into the A side and the 19 side, at least at the A level, it would have got rid of a bit of insecurity.
Yeah, it does give people a lot of opportunities. It does give people opportunities, and they know that, they are like going on a tour. That you're going to guaranteed you're going to get some games, you're going to get opportunities. Also, the fact that we've been able to increase our A level 18 programs, not that there's only one tour a year now. We at least try and have 2 overseas tours and 2 India tours. Obviously, this year is very different, and we've lost this year, so it's going to be disappointing for a lot of them. But at least we try and have 3, if not 4 tours of India A in a year. In that case, then all these boys who perform, they know that they're going to get a fair and a good opportunity to push for the India team, because there's nothing more frustrating. And I think players of your generation and a little bit of us growing up, it better than anyone else, WB. You perform so well right through the Ranji season and do everything you can, and you'll get one Irani game or you'll get one Duleep Trophy game to be able to show your skills, and you have a bad day or you have a bad game, and it's gone, and you have to start all over again. And as we know, that's not easy. It's not easy to do that. But when you're doing well, if you're given more opportunities, who knows where that can take you. And we've seen that with the recent results. People like Hanuma Vihari and Shreyas Iyer and Manish Pandey, and even some of the bowlers, whether it's been Siraj and Saini and Shardul Thakur, and a lot of these boys coming through, have had that opportunity and have been able to show the selectors that, hey, look, we pick us, we're there, and we can perform at this level.
Have you ever gone through a phase of insecurity? How did you manage it, if you did?
Oh, I have. I've gone through many phases of insecurity. I think growing up as a young cricketer in India is not easy. There's a lot of competition, and especially in the time that I grew up in, where there was only the Ranji Trophy and there was only the Ranji Trophy, and there was the Indian team. There was no IPL and even this kind of revenue or the money in Ranji Trophy was so poor that but there was always that constant challenge because you'd given up a career in studies, and which, like you said, I was not bad at studies, so I could have easily gone on to potentially do an MBA or a CA, which I kind of forego to have a career in cricket. And if the cricket then sort of didn't work out, then you sort of didn't have too much to fall back on. So I think there was that level of insecurity at that age, especially growing up. So which actually helps me a lot in sometimes working with a lot of these younger players, because I can identify with some of their challenges and some of the insecurities that they go through, and how things like security then helps at that stage when you're going to get opportunities or people trust you and give you games. I think things like that certainly do help a lot of these younger players. Again, just for me, I think even through my international career, there have been phases. I was dropped from the one-day team in '98. I had to fight my way back in, spend a year away from the game. So there were certain insecurities as well then, whether I'm a good enough one-day player or not. And because I had grown up being a test, wanting to be a test player and being coached to be a test player, hit the ball on the ground, don't hit it in the air, that kind of coaching. So, sort of, you worried whether you had the skills to be able to do it. For me, obviously, I think a lot of the ways to deal with insecurity was to sort of try and control what I could control. I think some of the things you realize when you get insecure about are things that are actually beyond your control. And you start worrying about things that you cannot control, selections, sometimes even success or failure is sometimes beyond your control. But what is in your control really is the effort, is just the hard work that you put in, is your ability to switch on and switch off, your ability to concentrate, whether it's your ability to stay balanced, whether you succeed, whether you fail. I think these are kind of things that you can control, your mindset, how positive you are even in the difficult times. And I think just sort of focusing on those things that I could control and kind of ignoring stuff that I couldn't control was certainly something that definitely helped me. But yeah, to answer your question, I think there's a certain amount of anxiety involved in this sport. I think it's just something you have to experience, and you will, and you have to accept it, and you have to say it's part and parcel of what I do. Sometimes there's no magic formula or no magic solution to it. Sometimes being anxious or being nervous is a good thing. That means that you care. That means that you are, it matters to you. Because if you do something that doesn't matter to you, you're not nervous or you're not anxious about it. So I think in a way, sometimes, if you think about it in that sense, that, hey, I'm anxious and I'm nervous, that's a good thing because I care about this. I care deeply about it. Of course, you don't want it to get to a point where it starts hampering your performances and, it's not, doesn't help you. So yeah, again, small things like maybe stuff like meditation off the field is again something that helped me calm my nerves off the field. Something I did a little bit when I felt a little anxious. So I learned how to meditate. So I used to meditate when I was playing. I used to meditate every morning and evening for 15 minutes, just more as a life skill, not as anything else, but just as a life skill to help me kind of stay relaxed and stay calm. So yeah, the different things that you sort of you would use when you're anxious or you're nervous, but I think in time you realize everything that you do, there is going to be certain anxiety and certain nervousness. I mean, now just watching the under-19s or watching the India A players play, I get nervous. I don't know about you coaching. I'm sure and as you would know, right? I mean, it's now you can't even do anything about it. You just have to hope that other people do something,
Correct.
which is